Hey guys and gals, this is Alex with Legendary Apartment Brokers. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025, here in Kansas City. This is the KC Multifamily Minute. Let's get right into it. As we do each and every single week, we've got some stats for you here for podcast listeners. Let's start off with some listings, okay? So this week, we're going to cover 5 brand new listings. We've kind of been waiting for a while. There hasn't been anything new over the last several weeks. Maybe a small one here, maybe a small one there. Nothing major here this week either. However, 5 new ones to look at, which makes it a little bit exciting. So we'll cover each and every single one of those. I'll tell you about how they fit into your 1031 exchange, what class rating they are, maybe some info on price per unit based on the current list price, and my brief guess on average rents for that area. So beyond that, let's get right into what we've got here. So on the MLS, there's 45 listings actually, and 30 of those are available, which means 15 are under contract. So if there are 30, especially now with these 5, that are available for you to buy, and that's really 2020 and older property that's $500,000 plus. I don't get too much on this podcast into the duplexes and those kind of things unless they break into that $500,000 price range, but just wanted to kind of give you an update as where the market stands. A pretty big, 5 new ones, that's a pretty big improvement when you look at it from the fact that there's now 30 available. That would be 5 out of 30, whatever math is on that as far as the new ones to look at, okay? So that's over on the MLS, Heartland MLS side. Then over on LoopNet, which I'll click to now, there's actually 32 that are listed there, 29 available, 3 are marked as under contract. That's across the Kansas City Metro. This one doesn't have any price adjustments or year-built adjustments because it's a lot lower in total volume. A little bit different listings, however, this week they're all the same, new ones here and there, so we'll cover that one right now. So first up, for podcast listeners, this is a 6-unit building off of 38th Street. It's 1610 West 38th Street in Kansas City, Missouri, right in the heart of Midtown, Volker neighborhood here, close to KU Med, several blocks away from a streetcar extension on 39th and Main. However, it is 6 units, $950,000. I would consider this a Class A location. The price per unit on this is going to be $158,000 per unit or so. Let's just double check that math. Bear with me a second. Yeah, $158,000 per unit. Now, typically in these colonnade-style buildings, these are going to be larger units, 2 bedrooms with an actual living room and a dining room. So they are large units. You can make them pretty nice. This here says it's all been nicely rehabbed. That's kind of a high price per unit. However, you could, if you get the right finishes in there, right tenant base, etc., you could get 1,500 rents on there if you do it really nice. Podcast guys, I'm just kind of scrolling through here, all the photos they have listed. Kind of as we thought, large building, large units, those kind of things. So that's a Class A location, urban core, right downtown, midtown, west of Main Street, just slightly east of State Line next to KU Med. Okay? So 1031 exchange, could look at that. Turnkey investment here, probably with some solid rents. Okay? So that's everything on LoopNet that I'm actually going to cover. So we're going to go ahead and skip on over to, we're actually going to use Zillow today. My website has some issues with pulling in some photos, but that's okay because Zillow has the same listings as my website at legendaryapartmentbrokers.com. So we'll pop over there and look at the other 4 new opportunities that are $500,000 and above. And first up here is another one next to KU Med. It's actually a 4-plex that is on Eaton. So for podcast listeners, 3127 Eaton Street, you know right where these are if you've ever done any business over by KU Med. It is in Kansas City, Kansas. It's those 4-plexes down the hill. Each one has a 1-stall garage. Since it's a 4-plex listed for $600,000, we've got ourselves, let's see here, $600,000, $150,000 per unit. Rents, I'm always looking at the 1% rule because that seems to be the best way to get deals financed. Just off the top, quick 2-second evaluation. You could get rents up to $1,500 here. These are typically larger units, as you can see from the photos. It's got a garage underneath and then 2 levels above that typically. So as long as these are nicely redone and large on the inside, you could get some good rents in there. There are some not so great buildings, which might drop your rents down. However, I would consider this a Class B plus location because you are next to KU Med, but it is in Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte kind of drops it just a tad. So that's my 2 cents on it. 1031 exchange could be a good fit. Again, if you've got all expenses put on the tenants, you could have a pretty nice turnkey opportunity here for you next to the ever expanding and growing KU Med property, or KU Med campus, sorry. All right, so that's a fourplex there in Kansas City, Kansas. I'm not going to talk too long about this one. This next one here, podcast listeners, this is 37th and Walnut, which is right in the heart of Midtown. It's a fourplex for $825,000. That's well over $200,000 per unit. I realize the owner was using this as an Airbnb and probably rented it out to travel nurses, etc. That's a stiff, tough price to hit. Sure, it's a Class A, A- location, nice, big, huge building. But if you're looking for something like that, I've got a fiveplex I own that I would sell for considerably less than that. That is also in great shape. So just something to consider there. I'm not saying don't look at it, but run your numbers wisely. If you've got Airbnb experience, travel nurse experience, could be a good fit for you there. Again, heart of Midtown here, very close to the streetcar extension. Just to the, YouTube viewers, that was zooming in a little bit. Just east of Main Street by a block. So it is right next to the 39th Street Main Street extension. Stop. So there is opportunity there that you could look at. Okay. So zooming back out, again, getting our bearings on this stuff here. Next up, we're going to stick to the urban core, which is where 4 of the 5 properties are listed this week. And we've got one here right on the plaza, essentially. It is a little bit north and west, but it's $1.4 million. For, I believe it's 8 units. So this one is $175,000 per unit for $1.4 million. I've sold stuff there for $165,000, for $200,000, for $300,000, all per unit. So it just depends on how amazing the finishes are on the inside and what they've all done to the outside, as well as getting rents up. That's the key to a lot of this stuff, is getting rents up to market rate. Rather quickly compared to where they were at. So this is 4403 Holly Street in Kansas City, Missouri. 8-unit apartment complex. You'd have to run the numbers to see if the math makes sense. It's a little bit north and west of the plaza, but still a great location. For you Class A, B guys, actually Class A guys, and gals, this could be a good opportunity for you if you've got a 1031 exchange. You want to be an active investor. The numbers work for you. You might have to put 35% down. So that's something to consider there in the Kansas City market as well. All right, so that covers 4 of the 5 new listings we've got going on. The next one we're going to talk about here is out in Raytown. For podcast listeners, that's a Class C submarket. Can be C+, just depends. This is right off of 350 highway, literally 350 highway. It goes in and out of Lee Summit. Through Raytown into Kansas City, Missouri. If you stay on that road, it'll either take you to 435 or take you down to the plaza. So this is right in the heart of Raytown. 4 fourplexes for $1.7 million. That comes out to be, just double check the math on that. So 1.7 million divided by 1.7 million divided by 16 is $106,000 or so per unit. Not a bad price. I've sold stuff here as low as $70,000 per unit. There's some other multifamily that is out there for well under $100,000 per unit. It would just depend on what the rents are in this area. I do like the fact that it's all 4 fourplexes that you can likely sell off individually over time. So if you got a 1031 exchange, you got a couple $1 million or $1.5 million. This could be an opportunity for you. I'm not sure I'm saying 1.7 million works, but maybe it does with the rents that are in place. But you could buy it and then sell off 1 fourplex over time if you wanted to, or you can keep them all and you can expand your portfolio. But that is a nice option. Probably pretty low owner expenses as well with these fourplex style. They do not have garages. But 1031 exchange investors, to me, just on the outset, a little bit tough on the over $100,000 per unit in Raytown. But let's look at this together. Let's get the rents, and let's see if this actually could be a good deal for you to go under contract on. Okay, I don't want to waste any more of your time. This is the KC Multifamily Minute here in Kansas City. Email me, alex@legendaryapartmentbrokers.com. We'll talk to you soon.